All right, what is going on, everybody? What is going on? What did we just watch? What did we just watch? All right, I needed a second after the game ended because I had to get all my thoughts in here. I wanted to listen to JJ Redick more than anything else, so certainly wanted an opportunity to get a chance, kind of regroup a little bit of how that game ended, and then listen to JJ Redick, and then start the post game show. So I appreciate you guys being here. Lakers over the Phoenix Suns in one of the more odd finishes to a game that I've watched in a really long time. 116 to 114, the final score. Lakers hold on and win. Really kind of tough to comprehend what the hell just happened. But a very, very entertaining game. And obviously, watching the Lakers end up closing that thing out the way that they did. You take it, you move on. There's a lot that we can hit on. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of positive things to talk about, and then I think there's areas of the game where the Lakers clearly got to be better to close out a game. We'll hit on that as well. I'm going to be in out of my studio for the next few days. So today, tomorrow when I do my morning show, and Tuesday when I do my morning show. So just a heads up, background, yes, does look a little bit different because I'm not in the studio. So let's roll with the punches on that. All right, Lakers over the Suns, 116-114. How do I want to start? Let's do this. Let's start with the end of the game. Like that, let's take a quick second with just breaking down how that game ended. And then I could really kind of layer in where I thought the post-game show was going to go today. But the game just didn't end the way we thought it was going to end. So it's going to take some twists and turns. I'm going to say this with all due respect. And I don't know the man, never met him before. I'm just watching as an entertainer, or as somebody that just enjoys the game of basketball. Something's wrong with Dylan Brooks. I don't know what's wrong with Dylan Brooks, but the Phoenix Suns came all the way back down 20 with about 7 minutes left to go. And Dylan Brooks hits a three-pointer to take a 1-point lead on the Lakers and decides he's got to do something or say something to LeBron to get a technical foul and get thrown out of the game. Have you guys ever seen that in your entire life watching the game of basketball? Have any of you guys ever seen that? Because I've never seen that before. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If Dylan Brooks was on the Lakers, I would love it. You need a player like that. You want an enforcer, but something's going on upstairs because I'm sitting here trying to understand. I saw the replay 3-4 times. I know LeBron ended up missing the free throw. I know Devin Booker makes obviously just a dumb foul. I don't know what Devin Booker was thinking. Why are you putting your hands out when LeBron's about to take a three? And the Lakers, what's crazy about this game is they should have lost the game after everything that happened, after up 20, and thinking that the Lakers are obviously in a great position to win the game. For all of that to just kind of happen, the Lakers are fortunate to walk away with a W. That's the best way that I can put it. A completely crazy finish to the game. But I have no idea what's going on upstairs for Dylan Brooks, because they came all the way back, took a lead. Dylan Brooks got a technical foul, and then the Lakers obviously got to regroup. Of course, LeBron misses the shot. To go towards the end of the game, and then, like I said, I'll kind of work my way backwards just because there's a lot to hit on. At least the Lakers just got the win. I mean, they deserve to win this game for how they played for 46 minutes of the game. You could even say, or not 46, I'm sorry. Let's say 44 minutes of the game, 43 minutes of the game. They deserved it. This would have been a crushing loss to the Lakers. And we've seen this before when it comes to sports in general. And you heard a lot of the broadcasts. I thought Stu Lance was doing a great job of pointing out that this is, it's prevent defense. You're not trying to win the game anymore. What you're trying to do is not lose the game. So that portion of the game was obviously an area that's going to stick out for the Lakers. But I think those are correctable things. I think the Lakers can clearly be a little bit smarter towards the end of the game. The one thing I didn't like if I'm going to be honest with everybody. And there's some, JJ Redick said some things that there's a ton of things that kind of stick out to me. But one of the things I wasn't crazy about, I really didn't like that team that put you in a position, and that included Jake LaRavia and Gabe Vincent. LeBron was on the floor during that time as well. Of course, Jared Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes. I thought I had some phenomenal minutes. Those five had, a moment there where they got the lead all the way up to 20. One of the things I don't like, and I know this just happens in sports all the time, and I know people are going to say, yeah, but then you got to go back to, the regular team, and you got to go to the starters, or you got to go to whoever it is, whoever was sitting on the bench, Rui Hachimura, Luka's got to come in, all these guys. No, you don't. No, you don't. You definitely don't. I don't care. If the Lakers are playing phenomenal basketball and it's because of those group of players that got them there, you don't got to go to your bench. You don't have to go find a way to get Rui in. Maybe Luka's the only one that you say, all right, I'm going to find a way to get Luka in. You don't have to go to the rest of the guys. The Lakers built a 20-point lead because of Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent. I know it's kind of crazy for me to say. Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes. LeBron was out there for a big portion of that as well. And Jake LaRavia. I mean, there were a number of guys that got the Lakers the lead that they did. Frankly, I'm not a fan of, well, we have to go to those specific players. You definitely don't. I think the Lakers almost kind of killed their own momentum by going to some of those other players. And then Phoenix obviously started hitting some shots. Lakers started creating some turnovers and making some mistakes. But even after everything, I'm watching right now, Luka hit a three. Lakers went up with 4:25 left in the game. They went up by 14 and still had obviously difficulty closing out the game. But eventually got it done. All right. I'm gonna kind of start getting into some of the individual players here as we talk about the results of this game. I think here are the positives for me. Finally, you felt the Lakers' presence from the bench. You finally felt a perspective from the bench. You finally felt like there are guys out there who can contribute at least for one game. One of the worries, it kind of sucks. I'm writing my notes here in the first half. And Jake LaRavia, I think he missed a three and he took another three, missed again. And I was like, I'm going to lay into Jake LaRavia today because I don't know the last time I said anything positive about Jake LaRavia. And then next thing I know, the Lakers bench comes out in the second half and every one of those players were phenomenal. I do think the Lakers won this game tonight because of Jared Vanderbilt. And that guy deserves a lot of credit because I'll tell you why he deserves credit. Let me kind of simplify this here real quick. Forget the 7 points and the 7 rebounds and the 2 steals and the block shot and wildly active in just 15 minutes of play. Just wildly active all over the floor, doing everything he can. The reason why he deserves a lot of credit is because I think a lot of Laker fans were asking the question of like, are we sure if the team keeps giving up as many points as it does, if the team keeps struggling defensively, are you sure you don't want to just kind of sprinkle in a little bit of Jared Vanderbilt here and now, here and there? And nobody's saying the guy's got to go play 40 minutes, but I think what most people were trying to say is, sure you want to just try it? You sure you don't want to just see if the man can have an impact? And he's a vet. He's been in the league for a while. He's got some playoff experience. He kind of adds some grit that the Lakers don't have. I thought Vando, and it's not always going to show, and it's not always going to be a box score thing, but I thought what Vando did tonight, Vando did something that's very unique in the NBA, and it's not something that happens all the time. He's able to impact the game without scoring a bucket. And I think, unfortunately in the NBA, this is just kind of how it is. How many points did you get? What's your shooting percentage? Can you hit threes? There's certain areas of the NBA that everybody just looks at and focuses on. That's not going to be obviously Vando's game. Granted that Vando did hit a corner three, and at least for me, I mean, anytime Vando takes a shot, I'm like, oh, that can't be good. Vando did hit a corner three and he hit it. So, obviously a great job from Vando, but that's not why you had Vando in the game. I was making a case, I think, what's today, Sunday? Last week we were talking something about Vando. I'm like, you sure you want to just try the guy? After the Lakers lost to the San Antonio Spurs, after they had lost a handful of games or given up a ton of points, you sure you just don't want to give him some playing time and see if there's any type of contributions that he can give you. And, fortunately for the Lakers tonight, he was able to give them contributions. And that's got to be a tough role for him. Vando's, I'm sure, a proud player. I heard JJ Redick talking about it post game. I took some notes here for JJ. But he did say he has been communicating and everybody's been communicating and he's happy that, he did what he did. But I think, if I'm JJ Redick and I'm coaching the Lakers and I got a team out there that is really, really struggling of putting together a good string of games where defensively you feel the Lakers' presence, I only got so many guys sitting on my bench that I can go to that are known for their defense. So why not give this guy an opportunity? And maybe Vando just worked his way back into the lineup. But I think more importantly, Vando added a toughness when he was out there. Vando added hustle when he was out there, offered a grit that I feel like has kind of gone away from the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers had a DNA earlier in the season where they did have some grit, that you did kind of respect the way they played. And I think they've kind of gone away from that. And it's been all just so offensive focused that we all know the Lakers aren't going to go very far if they can't get stops, they can't play defense. Vando gets an opportunity tonight, and give the man some credit. I thought Vando was obviously important for the Lakers. But I think as a whole for the Lakers on the bench, guys, I obviously I react to every one of these games. I do a show Monday through Friday. I'll tell you one thing that I don't do very often is talk about the Lakers bench. Vando gave you the 7 and 7. Jake LaRavia gave you 6 and 8 with a couple of steals and a couple of block shots. I'll talk LaRavia in just a second. I'll get a little bit deeper into him. Jackson Hayes was incredible tonight. Some of the lobs that he's catching, he's actually doing such a phenomenal job around the basket as well. Got to the free throw line, hit 4 or 5 from the free throw line. He gave you 12 points and 9 rebounds. I listen, Gabe Vincent only played 19 minutes. I thought Gabe gave them good minutes. Every player that played off the Lakers bench tonight, that actually played and got playing time, the Lakers bench won them the game. And just think about that for a second. I don't know the last time I've talked anything about the Lakers bench, positively, typically negatively if I got something to say, but they're a non-factor. They're a non-story. There's nothing to talk about with the Lakers bench. So to see that bench do what it did, that was obviously big time right there. And give all those guys a lot of credit because, and I'll get into some of the starters. I'm looking at the chat right now. People want me to hit on DeAndre Ayton and a couple other guys. That's fine. I'll do that. But Lakers are not winning this game unless it's Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia, and Jackson Hayes. That's how they won this game tonight. Those 4 players off the bench gave the Lakers just this, helped build a lead, but I thought added some intensity, some grit, some defense, and obviously that had a big reason to do with the Lakers win. Okay, couple other things that I'll just make mention here, and then I'll start taking a look at some of the comments. Let me just hit real quick on some of the stuff that JJ Redick said, and I'll get to some of the other players as well. Marcus Smart makes dumb plays. Okay, listen to this. First off, I mean, I get what Marcus Smart was trying to do. I get the concept of what Marcus Smart had in mind. I agree from the perspective of that fast break, Lakers up 20 with about 7 left to go, and he throws it behind his back, not knowing that there's a defender between him and Jared Vanderbilt. I know what he was trying to do. I know exactly what he was trying to do. You guys know what he was trying to do. Yes, maybe trying to a little bit of showtime, but I think he was actually trying to be an unselfish basketball player and give Vando the ball. Vando was everywhere. That's what I thought ultimately he was trying to do, but it was a dumb play. It was stupid. JJ was asked about Smart's decision to attack when the Lakers had the lead and the clock was in their favor. He said, yeah, not a good decision. I'll give JJ some credit on this, and I do think that that's a portion of JJ Redick that you can always depend on. JJ's going to be honest. I mean, JJ's going to tell you, yeah, I think that's a good decision. No, I think that was dumb. I think that was stupid. Let me give you an example. JJ was talking about LeBron went and took the Dylan Brooks second technical foul that LeBron went to go take he was asked about it, and bluntly, JJ Redick was like, "Yeah, that wasn't for LeBron. Luka's supposed to take that foul shot." LeBron missed. I think he went 2 of 4. Let's see his exact. Let's see what LeBron went from the line. LeBron went 9 of 14 from the line, but he missed some critical ones. He missed a couple of key ones there towards the end. He missed the Dylan Brooks one. He got fouled taking the three. He missed the first one, hit the next two. So it didn't end up costing the Lakers. But yeah, just kind of some weird communication issues. He said that he thought Luka was going to shoot the final free throw. Luka should have shot the final free throw, and he didn't. So again, I guess back to the JJ piece of it, of just being completely honest at certain times. So look, overall, you know, if they'd have lost this game, this would have been a really, really bad loss because of how they would have lost it. Losses happen, no big deal. It happens all the time. But how they lost it would have been a really, really bad loss, especially if you kind of look at the Western Conference right now. You got teams like the San Antonio Spurs all of a sudden winning games. Of course, you know what Houston and Denver are doing. San Antonio beating OKC yesterday. I'm going to get into that tomorrow when I'm doing my morning show. How impressive are they? But this just would have been a devastating, devastating loss. But they won, and I do think there's a lot of positive things to walk away from, and that's all you can really pay attention to at this point. Are there areas that the Lakers obviously have to be smarter? Sure. No Austin Reeves tonight. That mild calf strain out at least a week. It's going to open up some opportunities for some of these other players. All right, let me take a look at some of the comments here, and I'm sure there's a lot more that we can hit on. I barely even touched on any of the players. All right, this season alone, Smart has almost cost us 2 games. Yeah, a lot of people were a little upset there over at Marcus Smart. By the way, I will tell you this, whether Marcus Smart almost made some key mistakes and almost cost the Lakers a game, however you want to look at it. Marcus Smart also it's nice to have him on the court. You can feel Marcus Smart's presence when he's out there. Part of the reason why the Lakers were so much better defensively today in some of those moments that they had is because of Marcus Smart. So, yes, Smart has some bonehead plays. Let me see what Marcus Smart's line was. 8 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 block shots, and a steal. I mean, look, the Lakers, offensively, and I'll get into some of the other players. I mean, Ayton's really the one that we should be highlighting tonight with his 8 offensive rebounds, by the way, for DeAndre Ayton. And I'll hit on that in just a second. But for Marcus Smart, you got to have that guy in some of these games. You need Marcus Smart's presence. You really do. I really think Marcus Smart's a key player for this team. And like I said, hopefully he just cleans up some of the areas where he does make some of his mistakes. Francis, great win. The best thing was we did not get punked. I'm pretty sure Lakers will send Marcus home after that boneheaded play. Yeah, listen, the part about getting punked, how do I put this? You know what I really liked about this game? Kind of something going on between the Lakers and the Suns. Now, unfortunately, it's not the top 2 teams in the Western Conference. I tell you, it's probably 4 through 6, somewhere around there. But something going on with these 2 teams. You could tell there's a little bit of like, yeah, I don't really like you. You don't really like me. You got the Dylan Brooks, LeBron thing going on. You got Mark Williams, who got traded to the Lakers, and the Lakers were like, nope, he's not healthy. You got the piece of DeAndre Ayton, who played for the Phoenix Suns, and it's kind of like, yeah, that franchise, they gave up on me. You got some kind of interesting storylines there. You got the Lakers getting punked in that first game at Crypto that they played, what was that now, 2 weeks ago or so. I like these storylines. I like this little extra edge that's being added against these 2 teams. I think that's good. So, the being punked piece, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning about Dylan Brooks. Man, Dylan Brooks. My biggest issue with Dylan Brooks is that mouth is running only when they're winning. And I think a lot of these guys that I probably respect most in the league is when things aren't going their way and they still got a mic in front of their face. They still give credit where credit's due. Too much of Dylan Brooks. What's the term? A front runner. When everything's going good, he won't stop running his mouth, but then he's very, very quiet when things aren't going his way. But I like it. Listen, if I'm being honest with you, this was an exciting game because I don't think these teams liked each other, and that's really what you want. I mean, I don't need everybody to sing Kumbaya together, and I also don't want to see any brawls, but that was like the perfect balance of two teams where it was just edgy enough, but it was kept on the basketball floor. Nobody's getting hurt. Nobody's taking any cheap shots. I thought it was a fun brand of basketball. So, Francis, thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate you. Let's get another one here. By the way, thank you very much for the 20 spot, brother. Very, very much appreciate that. So thank you very much for doing that. Lunch right here. Lunch is on him. He's got lunch. He just pulled up at a bar and he's like, I got rounds. Rounds on me here. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you doing that. Dr. Slee, I did not watch the game yet, so please give us your regular therapy. Thanks, bro. Well, let me tell you this. If you didn't get a chance to watch the game, how cool is that? Guy doesn't watch the game, but he just comes to tune into the post-game show. I appreciate you doing that. You're going to enjoy watching this game tonight. There's going to be some ups and downs. Let me tell you that. You know, the Lakers in the third quarter went on a 24-0 run. What the F? I think it was 24. Might have been 25, but I went back and counted it. They went on a 24-0 run from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, kind of late third quarter. Phoenix was stuck on 77 points, it felt like, for a half hour. Kind of just an ugly game. And I think defense did have a lot to do with it. I think just poor shooting as well, maybe a combination of the two. But overall, just kind of a weird game. Go back and watch the game. And when you do watch it, you're going to enjoy this one because at the end of the day, Lakers won by 2. So, I mean, if they ended up losing this game, then I probably wouldn't encourage you to watch it. Thank you again for the 20, brother. I appreciate you. Let's get a couple more in here. JJ should have been playing Vando several games ago. Yeah, listen, and I love that we get to talk about Vando. I think, I'll tell you part of my job here when I do a post-game show like this, there's a lot of times where I just end up, you kind of hit on the regular players. You hit on LeBron. You say, okay, AR had a good game. AR struggled. You hit on Luka. Maybe Ayton and Rui, or those are guys that we talk about, obviously more and more now. But I think tonight, to get a chance to really highlight the Lakers bench led by Vando, come on now. We're not having conversations about that very often. I mean, I know there's a lot of people here that they watch it live or they watch it, recorded, or they listen on the iHeartRadio podcast, however you guys listen to it. Talking about Vando and the bench, that never happened. So the idea of why wouldn't you, or JJ should have played him more in the past, I think when your defense is as bad as it's been, I think you got to look at your defensive specialists and try to figure out how can I get these guys some playing time. So I'm with you on that. I don't disagree with you. Listen, the Vando conversation didn't start tonight. The Vando's conversation has been going on for about 1 week. I would say the conversation's been there. That, hey, are you sure you don't want to just try this guy? And I think it's obviously that's a fair chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the super there. We got a couple of people here that are gifting out some MVP memberships. Once a week, I do a show that's just for members. And most of the time, it's kind of a prep show. I think this week I'm going to do it on Friday is when I'm thinking I'm going to do it. But we do a prep show. And I do it just for the members, and we do it at about 7 a.m. is when we do it. So if you're interested in being a member, I would love to have you be a member. We talk a little bit about things outside of just the show. Yeah, some other things that are going on with the channel, things along those lines. So thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. We got another one here gifting another 5. I appreciate that very much, guys. Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you to do. Very, very kind of you guys to do that. Okay, let me keep rolling here. I'm going to keep one of these up because very appreciative that you guys did that here. Let's keep things rolling here. Let's get to a couple other topics that I want to hit on because I'm yet to even hit on LeBron and I'm yet to even hit on Luka. Let's kind of Man, I don't know what the hell I just watched today. Okay, let's do LeBron first. Let's do LeBron first, then we'll do Luca. I actually saw some encouraging things with LeBron. I'm going to be critical on LeBron. I'm going to tell you things that I'm encouraged about. LeBron's looking better the last couple of games. Just his body. Just his body. Not that LeBron is, dominating games. Not that it's the old LeBron. Not that LeBron's never going to make a mistake again. You guys know what I'm referring to. Early in his comeback, his body was like, guys, I think we got a big issue here. I don't think this is going to go well. LeBron's 23rd season. He's starting to look like it's his 23rd season. And that's been tough because LeBron, yes, he has slowed down, but he's still playing at a top 20 level last year, top 15 level, wherever you want to look at him last season. First couple of games this year, I think there were some real concerns about LeBron. Tonight, there was a stretch there where he was kind of leading the charge with that crew, getting Jackson Hayes the ball. Ball is moving. Guys all over the place on the defensive side. LeBron felt very engaged and very involved. His kind of back and forth with Dillon Brooks. I think LeBron started taking it personal because Dillon Brooks was making it personal. So I think all of that, I just liked seeing some of the flow of LeBron. Again, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that it's perfect, that his game is perfect or anything like that. But you go back and you look at the game he had against Philadelphia. Look back at the game that he had against the San Antonio Spurs. Just the feel for the game looks like it's getting a little bit better. His body looks a little bit better. He had the game against Toronto where, yes, he struggled from the field, but has 11 assists in that game. That portion of LeBron's game, I'm starting to feel a little bit better about. 8 of 17 from the field. And then there was areas of LeBron where I'm like, I 8 turnovers for LeBron. I mean, what do you say if you're JJ Redick to somebody that's been in the league for 22 years? This is your 23rd season, and you have 8 turnovers in a game. Now, he did have 2 steals. He had a couple of block shots for LeBron as well. Missed some clutch free throws at the end there. So I think clearly looking at LeBron and looking how his game went, I'm sure he would be the one to tell you, like, yeah, I got to be better in certain situations. But the 8 turnovers from LeBron, it's like, that's how you lose games. I mean, that's how you lose games. I don't know what the Lakers did. I'm going to look at this here real quick. So bear with me because I'm going to look at the team stats. I know they had a lot of turnovers, but I want to see if Phoenix ended up 22 turnovers for the Lakers. 20. The only reason why the Lakers won this game with 22 turnovers is Phoenix was almost as bad from a turnover perspective with 20 turnovers. You can't have that many turnovers. 8 of them coming from LeBron. I'm going to get to Luka. Don't worry. Luka had his fair share of turnovers as well. But that is just that is as obviously as bad as it gets. You can't have that many turnovers. His body, just his feel for the game is starting to look a little bit better. Listen, you guys can go and be as critical as you want on LeBron. That's fine. But for me, I'm looking at LeBron in his 23rd season in the NBA, and I'm trying to figure out, can this man still give on a night in, night out basis? And like I said, for at least some of these games, it looks like his body's getting a little bit better, but those turnovers were killer to have those turnovers. Okay, let's look at LeBron, or let's look at Luka. Listen, if we're going to be critical about LeBron and some of his game tonight, Luka it's as bad as I've seen Luka as a Laker. He just couldn't hit a shot. Luka couldn't hit a shot. 7 of 25 from the field. Do you know Luka took 14 threes and was 2 of 14 from the three-point line? And oh, by the way, he had 6 turnovers as well. So if you'd have told me AR wasn't playing in a game, LeBron and Luka would combine for 14 turnovers. Luka would go 2 of 14 from the three-point line, add LeBron's three-pointers, 3 of 19 from the three-point line between those two players. I'd have been like, yep, Lakers probably lost by 15 or 20 or 25. So an ugly game, and I know we don't say this very often, and I'm happy to say this. Lakers won the game because of their defense. And that is not something that you're accustomed to saying, but that's clearly how the Lakers won this game. They won this game because of their defense. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. Oh, by the way, and I haven't even done it yet, so let me do this here real quick. Just a phenomenal game from DeAndre Ayton was great tonight. You know, Ayton hit a couple of big shots, clutch shots. His work on the offensive glass, 20 points, 10 of 11 from the field, 13 rebounds. I like him and Mark Williams kind of talking a little bit at each other. I like it. Like I said, I like the chippiness of today's game. I really did. By the way, Mark Williams, 20 points, 9 of 10 from the field, 6 rebounds. So 3 block shots for him. So the guys, listen, you got a couple of centers going at it. You got a couple of your forwards going at it. You got a little bit of you got a couple of different guys here that created a good storyline for the Lakers, and I thought that part was fun. I don't think this is a blueprint of how to win games, but I think the Lakers, like I said, this would have been a really devastating loss if they couldn't get the W tonight after going up by 20. So for them to obviously do what they did and end up winning the game however they won it, dumb play by Dylan Brooks, bad foul by Devin Booker, however you guys just imagine if they lost this game after everything that they were able to accomplish. That obviously would have been critical. That would have been kind of heartbreaking for the Lakers, but good thing that we didn't have to worry about that. Good thing the Lakers got the win, and we could talk about a W because they don't play again until Thursday. So at least there's something positive here to talk about. Yeah, that would have been a bad few days here. Everybody would have been blaming me. I'm like, I got nothing to do with it. All right, I got to give a quick shout out to our partner here, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Really enjoyed my time with Brad. I was at their studio on Friday. Sat down with Brad and just got an opportunity to kind of catch up on things. He always wants to know, okay, how are things going with the channel? How's the business? How can I help? So I'm very appreciative of him and our partnership. I will tell you guys how he could potentially help you. And I've said this in the past, and just really easy messaging here. He's one of the best injury attorneys in the entire state of California. As reputable as they come. Not somebody that's going to be, billboard after billboard trying to get your attention. Brad Wallace is very, very happy with more organic messaging, very, very happy with relationships like the relationship I have with him. And if you're in need for any specific reason for an injury attorney, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. You go to the website, free consultation that you can fill out. Somebody will be there to help you. And I guarantee you that Brad Wallace will get involved as well to try to help you as well. wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. So shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. And I appreciate all you guys supporting. There's always a lot of comments. I say something positive about him and his firm. So I appreciate that. Obviously, you guys heard him if you listened to the show on Friday, him breaking down. We had a good conversation about the Lakers and where they're at and everything else. So obviously a big fan. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's kind of focus now. I want to focus now on some of the comments here. It's a good point. That was a little stressful. Just a weird game. I've been watching, as most of you guys on here, you watch NBA games, you watch Laker games. That was a very, very odd game. But very entertaining as well. If I'm being completely honest with you, I'm not overly against how the game went. I think, JJ Redick said something, and I wrote it down in my notes. What'd he say? He said that there's advantages to having the game go the way it did. There's advantages to losing that lead. There's lessons in games like this. But he also said he didn't want it to come down to the last possession. And it came down to the last possession. JJ also said something. By the way, he said the Lakers just continue to make mistakes. I think what he's talking about there is the turnovers. And I know he's not going to go out there and name these players, but your two main players can't have 14 turnovers. I mean, that's absolutely absurd to have two of your main players with 14. You could live with a bad shooting night. You could live with the shots not going in. You could live with that stuff. What these guys can't live with is how many extra shot attempts are you going to give the Phoenix Suns? How many free shots are you going to give the Phoenix Suns because of a turnover? That's the stuff that they can't live with. Effort on defense, they can't, or lack of effort on defense, they can't live with. All right, let's keep rolling here. What do people want to talk about here? Okay. Rui is your lesson. You're still going to make a mistake. Rui is your lesson. You're still going to make. I don't know. People probably talking with each other here. Luka, 28% shooting. Come on, man. 2 of 14 from the 3-point line. That's just absurd. That's absurd. Okay, let me you guys start throwing in some comments. Any other topics or questions you have specifically for me? Feel free to throw them in right now. So any specific questions, thoughts about the game, anything you want to hit on, throw it in and I'll start addressing them. I'll start looking at that stuff specific. It's going to be tough for me to go all the way back. I know a lot of people are very active while I'm doing the live, but now is your time to kind of chime in if you want me to react to anything. While I do that, let me give everyone a quick heads up. So next game for the Lakers, they got some days off. Next game's not until Thursday. 6 p.m. Lakers taking on the Utah Jazz. Utah, how bad are they? Are they any better? Have they played any better? Has it got any better for the Utah Jazz? 9-15, okay. Yeah, that's still bad. Their last game, they won. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies. So I think for the most part, I think we all understand that, obviously they've the Utah. At the end of the day, that's the next game that they have. So they don't play again until Thursday. So something to keep in mind. It's going to be the Utah Jazz. So hopefully for the Lakers, obviously that's a good thing, kind of a chance to pick up another W and move your record. I got a couple scores in the NBA that I want to run into as well, but I'll do that after I look at your comments. 18-7, fourth in the Western Conference. Vando's talking right now, and Vando's saying that all he tries to do is bring energy, and that energy is hopefully contagious, and 100% was contagious, and certainly for Jared Vanderbilt, I thought had a big impact in the game. I'm going to do my best while he's talking for me to get that, pass it to you while I'm also looking at the comments. I'm running a very complicated offense here. All right. Vando says it doesn't matter the circumstances or the situation. He's going to bring it every single game. So Vando gets a lot of credit. Let Vando do his thing. Now I'm going to start looking at some of your questions here. Then we'll look at scores around the NBA. Then we'll get the hell out of here. And I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Shout out again to all the supers. Shout out to anybody who subscribed today. Shout out to anybody that gifted out the memberships. Thank you again for doing that. See, what do you think about Smart starting over Reeves? Would the Lakers be better off with Reeves coming in off the bench for Luka to improve defense and bench scoring? Let me say this. This is what I genuinely believe. Let's take politics out of the play. Let's take money out of play. Let's take contracts out of play. Let's take all of that out of play. And I think Reeves is going to start all season. So let me say that. By the way, for those who didn't know why Reeves is out, Reeves is going to be out for about a week, at least a week. I think gets reevaluated in a week, a mild calf strain. So maybe that has something to do with some of Austin Reeves' struggles these last couple of games. So they're going to give him a little bit of time off. If you took all that stuff away that we're talking about, by the way, this is not a bad topic for tomorrow, so I might steal this for tomorrow's show. I think what I would do with this, I would tell you that I don't have the answer to this, but what I tell you is I would try different things if I'm JJ Redick. Because here's what I know. And whether that's Marcus Smart starting for Rui or Marcus Smart starting for Austin Reeves, I'm just giving ideas out here. Here's what I know. I know that the Lakers are not good enough to beat what I saw on Saturday night. The Oklahoma City Thunder are just going through the entire NBA. And then you got this young San Antonio Spurs team that gave it to the Lakers at their arena at Crypto, and they didn't even have Wemby. And then Wemby comes back on Saturday, and they're obviously going toe-to-toe with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They win. They're in the NBA Cup Finals. If I'm JJ Redick, I don't know if Marcus Smart should be in the starting lineup. But you know what I would do is I would try to see if Marcus Smart should be in the lineup, in the starting lineup. I don't know if Vando should get 20 minutes a game, but I damn sure as hell am not going to go 10 games where I'm basically not using Vando and my team has given up 125 points a game in the losses. And over the last 6 games, they're giving up 122 points. I don't think the Lakers have this luxury right now to be like, well, this is who we are. You got to figure some shit out. If there's a time, by the way, get some more data as well for Rob Pelinka. I mean, just at least get as much information as you can. Lakers have a good record. Nobody's saying they don't have a good record. But I also don't think people are really taking the Lakers seriously because they can't play defense. Guys, in all of sports, go watch. NFL playoffs are going to be coming up in the next 3-4 weeks. When the NFL playoffs start, go look at what team doesn't play defense and continues to move on. You got to be able to play defense. You got to be able to get stops. Same thing in the NBA. In baseball, you got to have pitching and good defense. I mean, these are things that you just can't avoid. So I don't know if I have that answer for you in regards to this question. I think it's a fair question. But I would tell you that what we've seen from the Lakers, to hang with the elite of the elite, I think we all understand they're going to have trouble doing that if they can't get stops. So let me just try different things because we're in the month of December. All right, let me get a couple more. Really good question, by the way. Hopefully that kind of answered it for you a little bit. Don't you think guys like Vando, you need a couple days off to get their heads together? No, I think Vando's had plenty of time off. So let Vando let's see Vando back in the rotation again. And you know how Vando works his way out of the rotation? Just don't play well. Dalton Connect early in the season kind of got some opportunities. He played himself out of the rotation for now. Maybe he gets another opportunity down the road. And if I'm being frank with you, there's also a part of this where it's like the Lakers don't have any luxury here. Here's what the Lakers need from their bench. They need them not to suck. Like, you got to give something. And frankly, the Lakers bench, other than Jackson Hayes, has been awful this year. So guys like Vando, if they have a game and there's a little bit of momentum, then give them some freaking playing time. Jake LaRavia had a good game today. Jake, part of the reason why I think Jake LaRavia had a good game today, they didn't ask Jake LaRavia to do anything offensively. They asked Jake LaRavia, which I think is probably his strongest suit, does a little bit of everything. And that's what I think Jake LaRavia is not that bad of a defender. Get Jake LaRavia in and tell him to be a dog on defense. Like there's other ways to try to get some of these guys to contribute. I kind of went all over the place on that question. All right, let's get another one here. Chance you give the Lakers to win a championship. I think with this roster as is in the Western Conference, you need everything to go your way. So what I would tell you is if they want a legitimate chance to try to compete for a championship, then they're going to have to give up draft capital, some expiring contracts, hope they could find, some diamonds here and there. And they're going to also need their players to be elite. So got a long way to go. That's just, that's just the truth. That's the reality of it. We can be honest about it. All right, let's keep going here. All right, let's see what else we have here. Reeves would be a good sixth man. Okay. By the way, you're not the only person that's made that argument. But I don't think the Lakers have enough talent to say we're gonna put Austin Reeves coming off the bench. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bum Lakers would be a lottery team if they didn't get propped up by the refs. Fourth straight season of leading the leagues in free throws, differentials, embarrassment in the league. Well, let me first say this. First off, you can't be a bum lottery team and be a number 3 seed like they were last year. They're 9-10 games over 500, 11 games over 500. You can't be a bum team. 18-7. Um, I mean, like, tell me what you should be saying is Lakers take too many free throws, and if they didn't take too as many free throws they did, I don't think they'd be. I don't think they'd have the record that they do. But saying that they're a bum team makes me think you're not watching the Lakers on a night in, night out basis. Let's keep going. Hey, listen, I welcome those comments. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Slee, Lakers need a trade or two to take it to the next level. I agree with that. I think they have a ceiling, right? I think they have a ceiling. And that ceiling is not going to be good enough to beat some of these other teams in the Western Conference. Or you're going to need a lot of things to go your way. That's going to be tough. So I just don't think they have enough depth. I don't think they have enough defense. And those are going to have to be areas that the Lakers are able to address. JJ's coaching decisions have been Darvin-ish. Yeah, I'd say this. I think he's had some good moments, and I also think there's some times I'm like, JJ, you got to try something different. You can't be stubborn. You got to, this team just isn't good enough to where you're like, well, I'm going to keep going with this. Yeah, but you don't know if this is there might be something better out there unless you try it. And the Lakers, again, they just don't have this lineup where you're like, no, I know this is going to work every time. Defensively, they are really, really, really bad or not good enough to be with the elite. Not consistent enough to be with the elite as well. So you know what you should do? Probably play some of these defensive players. Okay, a couple more things, and then we're going to get out of here. Real quick, scores from around the NBA. I'm just going to point this out here real quick. I know I like doing this here, so we'll point them out. Wizards beat the Pacers. I'm sure that was exciting, 108-89. Cavs lose to the Hornets. What the hell? Cavs are 15-12. What's going on with the Cavs? They lose 119-111. Hawks over the Sixers, 120-117. Nets beat the Bucks. Timberwolves beat the Kings. Timberwolves kind of starting to come on strong now. They're 17-9. Pelicans and Bulls rather watch paint dry. Blazers over the Warriors. Warriors now a game below 500. They're 13-14. So some of the games that I mentioned that had impact on the Lakers. Denver's got a half-game lead over the Lakers. Houston has a – how come Houston's above the Lakers? Is it percentage? Yeah, percentage-wise. By winning percentage. San Antonio and the Lakers have identical records at 18-7. Minnesota right behind, 17-9. They've won 7 of their last 10, so they're playing some good ball. All right, I'm going to read 2 more comments, and then we're done. And I don't know which 2. But I'm reading 2, and then we're done. One of them is this one, Clippers are ass. And the second one is Reeves is fine as a starter. If he was playing tonight, we'd have won easily. AR is very clutch. All right, I think we're good. Good show today. Phenomenal. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm back on tomorrow morning. So just a reminder, tomorrow, 8 a.m., we'll be doing the show. Solo tomorrow. Eric Pincus coming up on Tuesday. Mark Medina coming up on Thursday. So we got a good show, good week lined up. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out for the show. A lot of love to everybody. If you're just tuning in, I appreciate it. If you subscribed, I appreciate it. If you gave a super, gifted out some memberships, I really appreciate it as well. Thank you for being a part of the show. See you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Lakers over the Suns, 116-114. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, everybody.